Hi, I'm Mr. Beat, and this video will study the behavior of sellers in the markets using the supply curve. We'll cover the factors that are important to supply, which we call supply determinants, and their relationship to the law of supply. Then we'll examine how the supply curve adjusts when these factors change. The supply side of the economy is determined by sellers of goods or service providers. Similar to demand, the first important factor for supply is price. Unlike buyers in the market, sellers are more profitable when the price is high. Therefore, prices and quantity supplied are typically positively related. This gives us the law of supply, which states that the quantity supplied of a good rises when the price of the good rises, and vice versa, holding everything else equal. The second supply determinant is input prices. Since goods and services require resources for production, the sellers pay attention to the cost of production. An increase in input prices makes production more costly and consequently the goods less profitable, so the supply is reduced as a result. In contrast, a decrease in input prices makes production cheaper and thus increases supply, holding everything else constant. The third supply determinant is technology. Here we don't just mean technology in a literal way. Economists refer to technology as the efficiency of methods of production. For example, an improvement in machinery, which is a literal technology improvement, increases the capability of production. More education of the labor force also increases the production efficiency, which results in more supply. On the other hand, outdated technology may negatively affect supply because of the lack of efficiency. Similar to demand determinants, expectations about the future matter. If producers anticipate the prices of their goods will be higher in the future, they will then hold on to their inventory and supply less today. Let's look at a graph which illustrates the supply decisions by producers. Similar to the demand curve, this graph consists of price on the vertical axis, while on the horizontal axis we have quantity supplied. There is a positive relationship between price and quantity supplied, which satisfies the law of supply. As the price increases, the quantity supplied goes up and vice versa. This positively sloped line is called the supply curve. Now we'll observe how the supply determinants discussed in the first section can change supply. Just like changes in demand, we have two types of changes for supply. The first one is when a movement along the supply curve happens. For example, moving from point A to point B in the graph. This is a result of price changes as point A corresponds to a lower price, PA, and a lower quantity, QA, than the price, PB, and the quantity, QB, at point B. A movement along the supply curve involves changes in both P and Q. The second type is a shift of the supply curve. The shift could be an increase of supply where the supply curve S shifts to the right to S1, or a decrease of supply where the supply curve S shifts to the left to S2. This happens when there is a change in supply determinants other than price. For example, we know an increase in input costs reduces supply. This would show up in the graph as the shift from S to S2. As we can see, generally the supply curve shows the relationship between price and quantity supplied while holding all other supply determinants constant. If any of these other determinants change, then the supply curve shifts. If you want to explore these topics in more depth, come visit Chegg, where you can see additional topic videos and example problems, or you can ask our Chegg subject matter experts for help on specific problems. Thanks for watching.